me off. I don't like this destination. I like a transfer to the express line. I gotta get off. Electric slide into the devil doors of life. Things are changing and it ain't the way I like. On the replay, wish I could get a replay. Don't mean to hold ya, but I wanna do over. Gas up the ship, shoot me a text and let me know when it is time. I wanna get off, I wanna get off. 1 star, would not recommend that we go far from here. I wanna get off, I wanna get off.
A music podcast for the culture. Wild Wild Thoughts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Wild Wild Thoughts. Today, my co-hosts are V-Ray, aka V-Trees. We got Lil Rex, and we got Freckles in the building, coming all the way to us from Georgia.
Georgia.
Coming from Georgia, we thank you for joining us. You know, I tell you, I love to have you on because we need that ladies' touch. We need that ladies' point of view. You know, sometimes we could have blind spots when it comes to the women's perspective on things. So it's good to have you on. All right, well, look, how you been? That's the first question.
I'm good. Temperature dropped yet today, so had to adjust to this cold.
Can't do it.
But
what's our temperatures like out there?
it dropped down to 43 today.
No, ma'am. No,
Yeah.
ma'am. That's disrespectful.
Which is crazy because it was 65 yesterday.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. It rained. It was raining and it was 65. And then I went into work about 5 and it was still about 60 degrees. And when I left at left out at about 11 o'clock and it was 43 degrees.
Sheesh. He said, And I gotta be outside. I still gotta go to work and do stuff. I still gotta function.
Yeah.
I don't feel
So my
right.
heat is on. So my heat is on hell because
Right.
I don't like to be cold.
Amen.
Because at the end of the day, I'm still from LA.
Right. Right. So let's get into Pastor Ox for today. And V-Ray had a good Pastor Ox. He said he wanted us to do 5 underrated MCs. So maybe like 5 MCs that y'all think don't get the credit that they're due and should have maybe a little more props and a little more flowers. Where tonight, let's try to give flowers to some of those people who we think are the underrated MCs. I know you got your list, V-Ray?
Yeah, and a couple of honorable mentions.
Okay, let's go with V-Ray first.
All right, so some of these are known, but I just don't think they get their due for the pen. And one of them is and this is no particular order, but Jadakiss.
Okay.
Killer Mike
No.
is Nipsey Hussle is known, but he's more known on the West Coast, I think. But his lyrically, I think he was a dope writer. Black Thought, and from a female perspective, Rhapsody.
Rhapsody for sure.
Yeah,
Because
I got a couple of honorable mentions that didn't make the list, I guess, but I still look at them as with the pen is killer is Doja Cat, who ain't really a rapper, but I heard her rap shit that she writes for her albums. If you listen to her on the lyrics, she's dope. Redman, Lauryn Hill, the new chick Doechii. I mean, she's just
Doechii is fire.
I got her on my list too.
Yeah, Doechii is fire.
And then top spot nigga is Ice Spice. Nah, you know I'm lying. But no, that's it. It's saying it's the Ice Spice. Those are some of the writers that I listen to, and from a lyrical perspective, sometimes it's just like I think they don't get their props.
Okay. All right, Rex, you got some of them new schools on your list? You got some little yachties on your list?
Uzi Vert.
No, I ain't got no. But I
the rappers that dance with their hips.
No, none of that. I'm gonna probably. I think I only got like 3 or 4, maybe.
Okay.
But one for sure, especially what V.A. said, was Doechii. She was one of them. I would have to say Larry June.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
I
a
started
good
to put
one.
him down too.
Yeah, Larry June.
That's a real good one.
What's that
Yeah.
little nigga name? There's some other little nigga that's high. I forgot his name. It's gonna come back to me. But my two was Doechii and Larry June. But the rest of these other little niggas, they alright.
Yeah.
Oh! But it's another one. He hot in the streets too. He from Compton, and I went to school with him. Named Siete. Check him out.
Siete
Yeah.
from Compton.
Yes, yeah, he from Compton. Yeah, that's my
Okay.
boy. I went to school with him. Yeah, check him out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Freckles. Who you got?
Well, that's saying I had Killer Mike on mine, but I'm throwing I'm gonna throw Wale out there.
Okay, I'm not mad at that
Yeah.
because he had a nice little run with a lot of jams, and he not mentioned a lot.
Nope.
Yeah, and I mean he writes. I mean, perspective is a thing for me, and so he still is kind of like that old school. Like I'm gonna tell a story.
Yeah.
So me, and I like to. I'm a storyteller. So yeah, I'm gonna throw Wale out there. But I had Doechii, and I had Rhapsody on there too. So
Yeah, I think we all had Rhapsody on our list. I had Rhapsody on mine too.
Yeah. Rhapsody's dope.
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
who's on your list?
All right. So my list, he's like one of my favorite rappers, and I feel like because he's from a big group, he doesn't get the props he deserves as a single MC, but Method Man. I feel like if you
I had Method Man on mine too. Yeah.
you really dive into Method Man's like lyrical prowess and his metaphors, his flows, the way he switch up his flows, his rhyme patterns, and his rhyme scheme, because I look at all of those things, I think he's like very like he's known, but he's underrated as like when people talk about like the top MCs, in my opinion. And the next, Scrum Diddly D, Heavy D, Money Earner Mount Vernon. You go back and listen to them records, man. Heavy D used to be putting it down. But again, I think because he's such an entertainer, he was looked at more as an entertainer than an MC. So the MC side of what he does kind of gets swept under the radar because he could dance his butt off. He had like radio jams and joints. But Big Daddy Kane, who I think is the father of many MCs. I think people stole and bit and pulled so much from Kane. Like even Eminem is like, I stole a lot from Big Daddy Kane. So that just tells you like the vast, like, reach that he has to other MCs. Because I look at a lot of times, I look at the MCs that other MCs talk about. Because it's funny because the bigger MCs, most of the MCs they talk about are nowhere near big as them, aren't as known as them, but the people that they got a lot of they flow from, a lot of they style and they steez, it be these rappers like the Big Daddy Kanes and the Heavy D's, Rakims of the world. And my next, and I think these next two should be on a lot of people's top 5, but I think they run into the same issue. Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
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 Record with the baby is hard.
Busta Rhymes, because his voice is so known and it's such a huge characteristic, I think people don't realize that even though he's rambunctious and boisterous and saying all the things like da 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 da, right? If you really get down and listen to my man Flo, you listen to his metaphors again, you listen to his rhyme patterns, you listen to even like to this day, everybody's still doing his verse on the Chris Brown record. You know what I mean? And it's like it's not a lot of rappers. A lot of rappers can rap fast, but he raps fast and he's actually saying something. Like if you slow down that Chris Brown verse, he's not saying nonsense. Because a lot of times people rap fast,
Right.
they just nonsense, right? They just putting words together. But he puts words together, and I mean, even his big hits are lyrical dominance, like where my eyes can see, hit you with no delay. And so what you saying, yo? But because it's a hit record and it's on that crazy beat, you don't realize like he's saying something through that whole record. Like he's saying, so Busta Rhymes, and I think he gets penalized because he's in a group So people say he can't be in the top 5 or he can't be the GOAT because he doesn't have his own albums. But listen, man, I can't nobody do what Andre 3000 do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can't nobody do what 3000 does. You know what I'm saying? And again, another person who, because he got that quirky voice and everybody know the voice, everybody know like the real melodic stuff. But when you go back to like that Players Club when he was hungry and dusty, didn't have no bread and was rapping, he was out rapping a whole lot of people. And then you go further to like those like posse tunes like Royal Flush. If you listen to him on that Royal Flush record with the Isley Brothers sample, dude just he just goes off. And I'm like, how do people not have Dre in they top? Because the things that he do and the way he crafts words as it, not on his singing stuff, like I said, on his rapping, like when he's just rapping, I don't think that can out rap 3000. Like I had this argument with Glasses Malone because he was saying, nah, he can't be because he ain't a solo artist, he ain't had his own album. I said, but that ain't got nothing to do with the skill.
Right.
The skill level of what he does is amazing. And lastly, well, not lastly, because I got 2. Keith Murray, right? Keith Murray, and I wish he would have had a longer run, but Keith Murray, if you're a wordsmith and you like the use of vocab, Keith Murray would be one of your guys because this dude was using. Whew, y'all mythological niggas is comical. The astronomical was coming through like the flu bomb on you. What? That's the first line. That's the first line. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the. And then lastly, yo, MC Lyte. MC Lyte, y'all. I'm talking about, y'all got to remember when MC Lyte first dropped, and I thought about this the other day. When MC Lyte first dropped, people were still rapping like but right? Like people was rapping with that real basic cadence. And MC Lyte came with that cha-cha-cha, but that'll let to tell you, like that flow. I'm like, she was early. She was ahead of the game with her flow. She was ahead of the game with her subject matter. Georgie Porgy, she was talking about social issues before a lot of women was talking about social issues. Hey, man, MC Lyte is, to me, an underrated MC in regards to just, like I said, talking to, I mean, she's had a great career, and she's been parlayed into so many things. You hear her voice on so many commercials, her voiceover, she does the award shows and all that. But I'm talking about strictly as an MC, man. Lyte is a problem. All right, Shannon got her picks. Razzcast, great pick. I love Rassassination. That album I still play. I could play from front to back. Rassassination, he killed that. Corrupt, of course. I think Corrupt gets caught up in the, he was from the West Coast with the Dog Pound. But again, when I was talking about MCs that other MCs love, almost every top MC talks about Corrupt. Rhapsody, as we all have named. Good pick for Yo-Yo. Because Yo-Yo, hey, if you listen to that Brandy I Want to Be Down verse, she killed on that. You listen to her on Bonnie and Clyde with Ice Cube, and you think about it, she was, you know, hanging with Ice Cube at his height on Bonnie and Clyde. You didn't feel like she didn't belong in that record with him. You felt like she was right there, even and equal with him on
I
that.
thought it was
Bonnie
her record. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right, right. And you know, you go back and you listen to You Can't Play With My Yo-Yo, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Donald, you right. You ain't gonna win a debate with Glasses. He gonna beat you down until you just submit. Even if he and I've caught him a couple times where I know I got him, but he still ain't gonna let you in. That's just how Glasses debates. That's my guy though. Where you put Black Thought from the Roots? I think I would say Black Thought is a top 10 MC on any list.
Yeah.
I think he's a top 10 MC on any list. I think Black Thought has been consistent, and I kind of have a little prejudice towards Black Thought though, because he wasn't my favorite MC in the Roots. A lot of people don't remember before the Roots got big, they had another rapper in the Roots, rest in peace, to Malik B. And Malik B was insane.
Yeah.
He was insane. He was actually one of my favorite MCs. So
Black Thought is coming to his own though, man. I
Yeah.
mean, he's been a
Really
problem,
has.
but bruh, like he actually evolved to some lyrical shit. I mean, I listened to some of the more recent shit he spit, or some freestyles and stuff like that. Bro, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's deep. I mean, he jumps off a cliff. Lyrically, metaphors, all that. What you're talking about, similes and shit. Dude, he's a beast, man. But I guess in that band concept, he don't really stand out as much. I don't know if that's it, but it seems like he doesn't stand out as much because of the ensemble nature of the band or whatever. But dude, I mean, when he's featured on other stuff, or like I saw one of those old Pass the Mic things that they used to have on
the
BET
BET,
Awards and shit.
yeah.
That nigga's terrible.
No, Black Thought is a beast, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and like you said, he's really coming to his own, and I think he's become the MC's MC, right? Like
Yeah.
you see him,
Right.
like everybody be like Black Thought, Black Thought. Every rapper wants to rap with Black Thought, do a song with Black Thought, do a verse, and I think he's one of the best all-time freestyling MCs of all time, because I've seen him go off the head with so much stuff on the Jimmy Fallon show that they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
even when we used to see him on tour, you know, like. And the thing I like about Black Thought, man, is he knows how to command the stage live.
Yeah.
He knows how to command the stage live with all those words, with those verses, with all those, you know what I'm saying? Even on stage, he still don't miss a beat. He still don't miss a word. So, Steph, what up? So right now we talking about underrated MCs, our favorite underrated MCs. And happy belated birthday. We missed you last week, but we know you were celebrating. So I hope you had a good time. Shout out to Stephanie Smith, my girl. Washington Prep, mad vocals.
Prep.
Always good to see you on here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think y'all have some really great picks, man, for some underrated.
I also had Mos Def on my list.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
I mean, I love Mos Def. So just,
but most
I mean, I'm like super big on that whole tell a story situation, though. You know, we just not gonna be talking about the shit we got and all that sort of thing or whatever. So I had Mos Def on my list too.
Okay, so you made me. Go ahead, V-Ray.
I was just gonna say I like them, that class of rapper too, because it's more of a cerebral,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
thought process to the writing. You know what I'm saying? Like Freckles said, it's not all guns and big booty bitches and and all that shit like that. You know?
Right.
Actually spit from. I mean, I don't know. It just sounds like street smart book niggas. You know what I'm saying? If there's a way to break it down and shit.
Well, let me ask you this, because you sparked another question in my brain, Freckles. Who are some of y'all favorite storytelling rappers?
Notorious Big, Slick Rick.
Yes, Slick Rick for sure.
Right.
Who else would I say?
Like, I think A Children's Story is still one of the best hip hop stories ever told.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that song don't have a hook
at all. He's just rapping the whole way through.
One of the biggest rap records ever and does not have a hook.
That's crazy.
You know who's actually a really good storyteller? Warren G.
Yeah.
Think about Regulators. Think about Nobody Does It Better.
Yeah.
Nobody does it better.
You Don't See What I See. What's the other one? I Need a Light. The one with the twins. Like, he tells a lot of Long Beach. You know, he tells like a lot of like storytelling. But you know who's a really good storyteller too? I don't know if y'all remember him, but Kwame.
Oh yeah.
Kwame has some good storytelling songs that was like literally like you had to follow it from the beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm. Can't just dive in the middle and not know what's going on.
Eric Sermon, I like Eric Sermon. I don't think
with the James series.
Pop said Eric Sermon, but I think Eric Sermon, I put him in, this could be my bias. I put Eric Sermon more in that dope producer rapper category than just a rapper. Because like I wouldn't take him just as a rapper, but I'll always take him as a rapper and producer. Well, yeah, Sugar Free. Yes. You talk about a good storyteller.
Sugar Free with
Slick Rick, Kwame, Special Ed, Eminem. Yeah, those are some good storyteller stuff.
I think Kendrick is a great storyteller.
Yes.
Yeah,
some of his
Kendrick,
shit,
yeah.
like
Hell
Think
yeah.
About Me, and you know what I'm saying. Some of those joints that are actually.
Y'all not gonna leave out Tupac though. Come on now.
Yeah, Tupac
Yeah.
was
Come
a
on
good
now.
storyteller.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Brenda had a baby. You still make me cry sometimes. I
Look,
don't
Brandon
care.
had a baby. When my homies call,
Yeah,
there
when
was a
my homies
song on Me Against the World called Outlaw when he's talking about the little kids that was gangbanging. That record is a great storytelling
Hard.
record. It's
Hey.
crazy. Then he had another record on the Me Against the World album, So Many Tears. Great storytelling record. Like, yeah, he Dear Mama. Yeah, Dear Mama was a good, and Sugar Free tells the Pomona nigga story so well.
Thug nigga, man. That nigga, boy.
But when I remember when I first heard Sugar Free, like I've never heard nobody rhythmically rap. I still haven't.
Yeah, I still haven't. No. Not like him.
No, I still haven't heard nobody rhythmically do the things that Sugar
Not
Free
like him.
does. Those K like him and Mystical. Him and Mystical had those things that rhythmically only they can do. And if somebody else try to do it, you would know. Like,
You'll know, yeah.
You trying to
Oh,
do
that
Mystical.
nigga sound like, yeah.
You trying to do Sugar Free.
Sugar Free, yeah.
Yeah, like only they can do it. Only they can get away with that.
That's that authentic shit right there.
Hey,
authentic.
Stephanie, you right. She said Kid and Play. They were great storytellers. Really great storytellers. Yeah. That brings me also to Salt and Pepper. Tramp. Salt and Pepper. Queen Latifah. Who you calling the bitch? UNITY. She was a good storyteller.
Ice-T.
Ice-T. You know what's funny? Ice-T's not a good rapper, but he's a great storyteller.
Great storyteller though.
Now, but you got to get a step ladder out for that motherfucker.
That nigga's not a good rapper, but he's a great storyteller.
He can tell some shit. He can tell you a story though.
Because you think about Colors, Money Love. I love Money Love. I love Money Love. Yeah, Colors was I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking, king of the 10 gangster stalking. You like,
hey man.
But that was like the perfect record for that movie. Like, oh, you know who's another great storyteller? Shannon, Ice Cube. Ice Cube probably top 5. Ice Cube got to be top 5.
Yeah.
He got to be top. Once Upon a Time in the Projects. The one where he was talking about all the fairy tales. We talking about the little lady in the shoe and how he did that. Yeah, like
it's a song on War and Peace that he did too. I forgot what the song is called though.
Oh yeah, Snoop is definitely a good storyteller.
And Dangerous Species, Ice Cube killed on too.
Yeah, Endangered Species, Ice Cube. It's funny because you can talk about Ice Cube in different eras because he's like totally different artists.
Ghetto Vet.
Yeah.
Endangered Species Ice Cube is not the same as We Be Clubbing Ice Cube. And
Nope.
We Be Clubbing Ice Cube is not the same as Friday Ice Cube. And Friday
Yeah,
Ice
but
Cube
the evolution was televised.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
You know.
Yeah, Today Was a Good Day. Stans is one of the best all time. Songs. That's a perfect story song.
Every day, anybody can turn that on.
Today Is a Good Day and that's a perfect story song.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the hood, the quintessential.
And it's universal too. Like everyone loves it.
Everybody loves Today Was a Good Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one, Shannon. That's a good one. Yeah, like Ice Cube has some great ones. Biggie, like you said, I love Big storytelling. When my favorite Big records are when he goes into his storytelling mode, like Warning, you know, like those kind of records where he's just telling. I got a story to tell. Like
story to tell. Yeah. What's the one where he says they go to the hotel to do the drug? They got hired. They got put on to go do the drug buy, and he decided to rob the.
Plug. Yeah, but when he do it, it feel like a movie.
And Suicidal Thoughts too. That shit hit.
Yeah, they have all the sound effects and shit like that in there.
I love Moni Love. Me and Pop was just talking about Moni. I wish Moni had a bigger run so we could have a bigger sample size of records to utilize from her, because I think she always, like, I love Moni in the Middle, but she was always dope on like Queen Latifah's records, like on Ladies First and those features that she did. Man, I'm kind of sad because we talking about all these storytelling rappers, but we're not talking about outside of Kendrick. It's not a lot of new ones. Well, J. Cole is a good storyteller.
Yeah.
Cole is a good storyteller.
Yeah.
Who else is telling stories?
Common actually was.
Common.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a great call. She said Goody Mob. Shannon said Goody Mob was a good storytelling group. I was just watching today. What's the record what they had with Cold Breeze? I just watched a video today, Shannon. They had a record with Cool Breeze where they were standing outside and the dude was getting arrested. So they basically narrating the story as you watch the video. It's with Cool Breeze and Big Boy. I forgot the name of the record, but I literally was watching that today. Stephanie, everybody the name Doechii. We all
Right.
she got next.
yeah.
Oh,
You know, now that I live down here, Outcast, just because of the first time, you know, I went to grad school here like 15 years ago. And so, I mean, I've lived here a couple of times, but like I learned my way around the city via Outcast. Because I mean, but it's crazy because when you go to those places, you're like, oh, this is what the fuck they were talking about.
Right.
Okay. But
Yeah.
it was like the stories and they told about all the different streets or whatnot. So that was, it was a hell of an era, but they told all those good stories about all the different pockets throughout the city.
Headley and Delow.
Headland and Delow. Yeah.
Yep.
Ain't it's the trap.
Yeah.
It ain't gentrified over there yet.
Yeah.
You know, so it was that was a time. I mean, just piggybacking on far as like Goody Mob is concerned too.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
And Outkast definitely great storytellers. You go back to that first album again, like that first No Cam. Oh, you know what? Let me tell you something crazy, Donald. I promise you. 2 days ago, I listened to Cam's Every Single Weekend because I thought it was such a good storytelling record. I don't know if y'all remember Every Single Weekend, but it was on the Boys in the Hood soundtrack. And it was talking about how niggas just start acting hard on the weekend. I just put up that record, so that's a good one, Donald. Cam, I just put up. If y'all get a chance, listen to Every Single Weekend on Boys in the Hood. Killer Mike, of course, is a great storyteller, but again, he comes from that Goody Mob ilk. You know,
the whole dungeon.
The whole dungeon.
Houston storyteller too. He's pretty good. Sauce Walker too. Y'all should check him out. His storyteller is pretty good.
Right.
He's a good storyteller too. Yeah.
Missy Elliott, absolutely. Missy does everything. Missy can do no wrong. Missy is one of my all-time favorite artists, and she gets missed in these conversations because people don't talk about her only as an MC. Then people don't talk about her only as a singer. You know, because she does all these things so well. They don't talk about her as an artist and a performer. But like Missy, to me, is the top of all of it. She's top of the food chain, man. So yeah, I would never sleep on Missy, her storytelling, and just the way she would take subjects that people, even when she wrote songs for other people, like the Oops record she wrote for Tweet when she's talking about playing with herself and stuff, like the way she wrote it, so clever, so smart. You know what I mean? Like, props to her. Damn, that was a good pass to Ox right there.
Can we do Wu-Tang too? Is Wu-Tang a part of storytelling? They tell it from a kung fu perspective.
Oh no, they absolutely are.
Yeah,
they absolutely are. They absolutely. You can't forget Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang, nigga. Wu-Tang, nigga. Protect your neck.
Yeah, you can't forget Wu-Tang. Can't forget the Wu. Scarface, damn, Donald, good one. How did I miss that?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Scarface is a great storytelling rapper.
Oh,
Scarface is one of the top storytelling rappers, man. My mind playing tricks on me. Never seen a man cry.
Oh yeah.
On my block.
Hard.
Yeah, Scarface got a lot. Even that whole first Ghetto Boys album, which was like a Houston version of NWA album. They were telling like Houston stories.
Hard.
Yeah, Slick Rick was on the very first one. Yeah, Slick Rick is. I listened to Behind Bars. Remember he had the video where he was in jail, so they made like a cartoon out of it. And I listened to that, and then the art of storytelling that he did with Outkast, which was another great storytelling record. Slick Rick is a good storyteller, man.
Yeah.
Even like it's funny because Lottie Dottie is a funny ass story, and that's him too. We all was singing Lottie Dottie back in the day. Like everybody knew Lottie Dottie. Yeah, nobody paints like we said. Eminem paints great pictures. Big paints great pictures. Oh wow, Smoot. He said Damon Speed on Tell the Two Cities. You know what? That's one of my favorite records that we ever did too. because everything on that song is true. Everything that happened on that song is true. But yeah, if y'all get a chance, go listen to Wild Bunch, Tell It Two Cities. That was our foray into storytelling. We was telling stories about, you know, growing up in the hood. I miss the Brat as a rapper. I do.
Yeah.
I miss the Brat as a rapper because that's somebody else who could have been on our underrated list. Freckles.
Yeah.
The Brat could have been on our underrated list because the Brat used to really come with it. And
I mean, it was a time.
Shady. It was a time, and I think
It was
because
a time.
she didn't get looked at like an MC like that. But the Brat used to have some cold ass verses. Like the Brat used to really go. The Brat used to go.
I mean, are we throwing E40 in the mix too?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's hip hop, bro. It's just
Hip-hop,
the field is
yeah.
so broad, man. It's so much
Bruh.
talent, so much
Oh
skill.
yeah, Richie Rich Richie Rich wasn't that known, but Richie Rich when he dropped on that 5 on It remix, Richie Rich.
Boy,
What?
that thing there is still good.
Let me tell you something. That 5
Too
on It remix, I
too
think
good.
it's still one of the best remixes ever.
Classic.
Oh no, we did not. DMX as a storyteller.
Oh.
How we forget DMX? X as a storyteller.
Ooh, X was a cold storyteller.
X
bro.
was a cold storyteller, man.
I mean, we doing single because I mean, you know, we're gonna talk about stories or whatever. I mean, you know, De La Soul and
Oh.
and Tribe. I mean, we gonna do it.
If we gonna do it,
We're gonna do it all the way.
I mean, we
left
gonna
my
do
wallet
it.
in El
I mean-
Segundo, like the story of I left my wallet in El Segundo, a war tour. I mean, they got so
Yeah.
many storytelling records. Yeah,
That's what I mean. It was just like that old. I mean, I hate to because I mean now officially like it's old because like now all of those that time period like 30, 40 years ago now.
Yeah,
Like
old
that's
school.
fucking
it's
crazy.
old school now.
But
Yeah.
that's when the folks was just having something to say. Like it sounded good. He was doing all the bop and all of that, but it was still something was being said. And so, you know, I'm one of those people who still listen to all of this stuff right now. I don't know, like I kind of hella been on the Tribe just since the was that the Rock and
The
Roll
Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of
the
Fame.
Hall of Fame thing, and I was just like, and I was just kind of take it all the way back. You were like, oh my God, like I remember you should be able to listen to that from start to finish. You remember getting the CD and being able to look through everything, and you know,
Yeah.
I missed
Reading
that
the
part.
credits.
I missed
You
that.
actually read credits when you bought a CD.
Yeah, just all of the stuff, and then just all of the shout outs, like what you was going through when it came. Man, I miss it. I miss CD. I was telling someone the other day, I was like, you remember when you knew that the CD was coming out and you couldn't wait to go to Target to get it for $9.99?
Yeah.
It was an experience. It wasn't just the music.
It was an experience.
So let me tell you what up, cousin Juan. What's up? What's popping? Oh, let me tell you what we used to do. Hold on. Donald said, y'all consider Nas a storyteller? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yep. But what we used to do, we all would get together, me and all my friends, and we would find out every CD that was coming out, of course, and be like, all right, I'm gonna buy these two, you buy that one, you buy these two, and we would all run up to the warehouse, we would get it, go back to the crib, and literally have a sitting session quiet for hours, just playing all the records that came out that day, going through it, and then having like the longest discussion after about every record, each producer, who produced it, how did we feel about, like, this was like because I think the records back then came out on Tuesdays. Records dropped on Tuesdays back then. So we would go like every other Tuesday and get a haul. They knew we was coming to warehouse, you know what I'm saying?
It was a time.
And you know what? I think that goes back to us talking about how the experience of experiencing music together has changed.
Yeah.
Because of streaming and stuff being on our phones, we don't experience music like that together anymore. We don't really have that shared experience. Like, hey, let's all go get a record. Let's all sit down and just listen to the record together. Let's go through these credits and let's talk about who. Like we don't. And I knew that wasn't just us as musicians doing it. I know, like you said, Freckles, I knew people who just were music heads, was sitting down, going through the credits, opening up them books, looking at the artwork.
Yeah.
You like the artwork on the front, but remember they had like a theme inside of the, you know,
it was a little pack. It was a pamphlet. You know, you just,
Yeah.
it was pages. You sat there and I'm listening to it and you're looking at all the stuff and you're reading all the stuff and their personal thoughts and extra pictures and in the studio and all of that time, whatever. You know, I mean, I grew up in the industry. So then I'm always looking at the credits and all that kind of stuff because then it was just, you know, still finding things like people sampling like my dad's music or things like that. So I kind of look for all the things. So it's, you know, it was just one of those things. Like you were already kind of familiar. Like when the award shows came on, it wasn't outlandish. Like, well, who the fuck is that?
Right. It wasn't foreign to us like that.
Yeah.
Donald said that was the only way you was going to get tuned in with who producers were. You had to read the credits. There were no
Right.
tags back then.
Right.
Like you on the beat.
Right.
You had to read. Some of the CDs even had centerfold inserts that turn into posters. Hell yeah, Steph. I remember that.
Hell yeah, the posters.
When your
Music
CD
is
turned into a
more
poster, you was doing it
disposable
big.
Yep. I think my first CD poster was a little Bow Wow with a dog on it. It was a big ass
Wow.
poster. I put that bitch on my wall. I remember that shit, man. Damn, good time.
Right. See, you know,
But
they'll
music
never
is
know.
like microwavable music now and shit. You know what I'm saying? People put out a record and the shelf life isn't that long. You know what I mean? That has a lot to do probably with the content of the records and, you know what I'm saying, the creative aspect of it. But it's so easy to just move on to the next that, you know,
Right.
fans don't get to appreciate the moment with a record. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the part that makes it be hella cool. Like just, you know, everything kind of circles back to Kendrick. But like, I remember like the moment I was like scrolling on my phone and then the thing popped up and I went straight to it. And then it was all of a sudden, I mean, I posted it and then it was just like, then I started getting text messages and it was like, cause everyone here, like I live here in Georgia. However, everybody know I'm from LA.
Right.
And so everyone was like, dude, did you see that? You know, so it wasn't the same per se, but
it was the closest. It felt the closest.
it was a
while,
feeling.
yeah.
And that feeling's was kind of cool because like we're still talking about it.
That was a moment.
So it was a moment. And so like it's just hella cool that it's a hella West Coast moment too, but it was still a moment. It still feels good.
Yeah. And you know, I think like how we talked about the movies is not a shared experience like that no more. You know, I feel like that's another thing that changed musically is the way we even consume music together. You know what I mean? Like the way we consume new music together. And I think that's why we are still so connected to all of those records because we connect to those moments. So like when we first heard the Outkast, I remember the first time I heard All About the Benjamins, like it was yesterday. I was on Normandy in 83rd and it came on and I was like, yo, what the hell is this? Because it didn't have a bass line, but my car had beat back then. So I'm like, this song ain't got no bass line, but it's beating like crazy and it's just a guitar riff. Like, you know what I mean? Like I remember those moments and I look forward because now, again, like you said, Freckles, circling back to Kendrick, I had one of those moments when Not Like Us came out. I will never forget where I was when Not Like Us dropped, what was happening, and how fast it took hold. I don't know if y'all saw. DJ Mustard said he did an interview. He didn't know Not Like Us was happening until we knew it was happening. He said the first time he heard it was on the radio, like all of us. He didn't know Kendrick even jumped on him. He said he had been sending him beats and he never used none of his beats. He said that was the first time he used one of his beats. But then he said he heard it on the freeway. He said he was on the 405 on the way to the baby shower. Nigga said 20 minutes later, by the time I got to the baby shower, they was playing it at the baby shower. He's like, how are they playing this already?
Right.
And for us,
I saw that.
We were performing at Dodger Stadium at a Dodgers game.
Yep.
And my cousin and Rex ran over to me and said, Kendrick dropped another one. We pull up, Not Like Us. We all got our phones to our ears and we walking around. We like, oh shit, he got one.
Man.
Freckles, before the end of the game, the Dodgers tweeted, they Not Like Us with somebody.
I saw that. I saw that.
So when you talk about a record catching fire,
right? It was definitely one of those moments. I was like, "Oh my god, I wish I was at home." I walked into I hang out at this cigar lounge, and I walked in, and like instantly, like they played it for me.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, Yeah, because they always gonna give me an LA moment.
Yeah,
And
West Coast is having a moment, man. West Coast is having a moment right now, thanks to
love
Kendrick.
that.
Snoop is about to drop another album. It's Ice Cube just dropped the album. Like West Coast is really having,
Yeah.
like Shannon said, without bots.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, everybody's doing their thing though. Bots is just part of the industry now and shit. Ain't no way around that shit.
Yeah, Drake gonna sue the bots. So I wanted to get into the next thing, and we can make this our let's argue for the evening. Steve Urkel, aka Jaleel White, has been pissing people off in his interviews lately. So he made a comment, and I kind of want to talk about it because he was saying that he feels like Family Matters is left out of those conversations of, left out of those conversations as like the top black shows or one of those classic black TV shows. And he says he feels like, I want to make sure I phrase this right. He said because they were more of a middle class family and it wasn't hood. And he said he felt like if people feel like if it's not a hood story, it's not a black story. But then the shows he named, he said, like Martin, Living Single, Different World. So I want to talk about that. For me, it ain't in the same category as those shows. And Family Matters was a good show. It was the Black TGI Friday show. They did 10 seasons, but Family Matters never connected to the culture like those other shows did. And it don't have nothing to do with being hood, because you think about it, Martin was black, but he wasn't hood. Martin was working as a radio host, and his wife was a ad executive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't hood. Living Single, you had a lawyer, an entrepreneur, like they all had good jobs and was like middle class. The Cosby Show, Different World, Cosby Show was upper class. None of those shows was hood. So I think he misses the mark on why that show isn't mentioned like those other shows. I think one, he already said himself, that show had mostly white writers. And that show, it felt like that. That show felt like a black show with a bunch of white writers. Fresh Prince, it didn't feel like that. Fresh Prince felt like it was culturally relevant to us. We connected to that. Like, as much as we knew nerds in the hood, no nerd we knew actually was like Steve Urkel.
Mm-mm.
No.
None.
Not that I know of.
Like, we knew a lot of nerds. The closest was my nigga Stafford. But we said Stafford was more Millhouse than Urkel.
not a glowing.
But yeah, I think he missed the mark. And y'all tell me if y'all agree. I think it was just that they didn't impact the culture because they didn't speak to the culture. I think they were ABC. The ABC was the whitest of the whitest networks back then too. Like even NBC was blacker than ABC. Demond said Family Matters was Drake of the black shows.
Basically. That's pretty.
But I don't know what y'all think. Why do y'all think? Do y'all think he had? Because he said whenever somebody asks what's the best black show, he said we always score very low. He said, but when they just ask what's the best family show, he said they score very high. I said, well, to me that shows, a lot of white people like y'all, honestly. But let me ask y'all, like, start with Freckles. Why do you think that show didn't connect the way those other shows he named? And do you think he was correct in his assessment, or he might be a little, not delusional, but a little off?
I don't know if it's so much delusion as it is just, I don't know. In my heart of hearts, I want to say he misspoke because you didn't really think that out. You was kind of like, it just kind of was like off the cuff. And so maybe I think it was like, I kind of felt like I understood where he was going with it. I just think it was the verbiage was off. But as far as families, I remember waiting to see Family Matters on Friday nights or whatever. But
we all watched it.
It was the wholesome family show. And you just was happy that there was a Black family that wasn't, all of the stuff. But as far as those other shows, it was, like I said, it's just the impact of the culture. Like, it was just, they spoke to a lot of things. Martin, fun and games, shits and giggles. However, there was a lot of very deep moments there. Living Single, there was moments that were connection and understanding. And this is something I'm familiar to. But even sometimes how they spoke, it's in the writing.
Yes.
And you still celebrate it because they're still always going to be a part of the conversation. But motherfucker, be happy that you're part of the conversation.
And you just wasn't better shows than those shows that you compared yourself to.
Right.
But they're not even, can you really compare them though? They're not, there's not really a comparison there. They were different subject matters. It was different demographics was watching. The same people who were necessarily watching Family Matters weren't the same people that were watching Martin and Living Single and any of the other. It just wasn't really it wasn't the same.
You ain't watching Martin on no Nickelodeon. Family Matters was on Nickelodeon. You're not watching.
Shannon said, I can't even think of a Black Hood show outside of Good Times and Sanford and Son that was really hood. Yeah, and what's the other one with kids? What's Happening?
Oh yeah,
right.
Stephanie said, let's read Stephanie's comment. She said, I personally feel he is still in his feelings, that Family Matters has always been his biggest piece of work. There has been a lot of drama surrounding him and that show and the cast members. So there's always going to be some soreness whenever he talks about Family Matters. There has to be some type of relevance for him so he don't feel like he's been forgotten. The storylines that Family Matters had related more to the Black kids that attended white schools. That's a great point.
Yeah.
And just like,
it falls into demographic. It wasn't as relatable. Shoot, I grew up on 92nd and Western. It's, my mama hella worked and all of that sort of thing or whatever, but I wasn't necessarily,
Yeah, well, just think about it. But even that, he did penetrate the culture though, because people still say, did I do that? Or as soon as you hear it, you know what it's from. Like, I think he has his place. I think he wants his place to be different. And I think
you were supposed to grow. You didn't allow yourself to be able to grow and evolve. And you couldn't outdo that character. Like Whatchcall said, you're always going to be that. And so what else are you?
Well, and also, but also when you think about, like, even the time they did try to relate to Blackness, they did it so wrong. I don't know if y'all remember when they had the gangbanging Urkel. He was something dog with some name that a white person came up with, like no Black person who would ever really be named that shit. OG dog or something like that. They had Urkel, and then when they just got silly with the Urkel machine, they just turned this nigga into different people every week.
Yeah, making them what I mean? Shit.
Yeah, like he turned to Bruce Lee Urkel, Myrtle Urkel, Stefan, like the nigga that they could put him in the machine, turn them into anything they wanted that week. It kind of got away from like the show being a family show. It's just like, what can we make Urkel do this week? It got real gimmicky, but I think he does have his place. I think he wants his place to be different, and it's not going to be different. And I don't think that has anything to do with us wanting. I didn't like it because it almost was like he basically saying you niggas don't know what's good for you is how I took it. Well, like, because it ain't a hood story, it ain't a Black story. Like, no, we thought it was a Black story, but a lot of us just didn't relate to like how Urkel even.
And our daddies wasn't a cop either.
Well, yeah, our daddies
that's another thing. Well, I think that dude is just kind of a little bit ungrateful for the place in history that he has, because it feels like he peaked at the Family Matters milestone and shit like that. Even though he's done a couple of appearances on other stuff, he's never outlived Urkel. He was recurring Urkel like in his 30s, this grown ass man and shit. Still putting on the high water jeans and the suspenders and all that shit like that. But there's a reason for that, and that's because you nailed that character, and that's one of your places, not in necessarily Black cultural history, but in show business history. You know what I mean? So instead of looking at it from that perspective, like Dane said, he wants to be recognized as this Black figure and shit like that. Is like that's true. You are Black, but
Right.
you know what your body of work wasn't necessarily black, but it was nationally known. It was on for 9 years, so there had to be something about it. Maybe the last two was throwaways, like the Brady Bunch goes to Hawaii and shit like that kind of
Yeah.
things. But the show was on for 9 years for a reason, So if you're mad at who was your audience and who supported you, that's a you problem. You know what I mean?
Well, I think his audience was the same appeal as like the sister audience. Like so.
Yeah.
It's like the younger black kids, not necessarily the teenage, because we were teenagers at the time. So the teenage kids who like Martin and stuff is not necessarily watching TGIF, but we probably watch with our little brothers and sisters, so we know it too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his backlash. I mean, also he does have a book coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got a book coming out, so we know he got to start some
everybody always kind of makes some waves.
Pop said he should have capitalized. I think he did though. He just came out with his weed, Purple Urkel, that's been doing really well. Yeah, he got
What?
Purple Urkel.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Well,
he's been doing.
And here we are talking about him on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Days later, so maybe that some of that. And I'm always cynical about when people go public with some shit just before they drop a tell-all book or some shit. Motherfuckers come out the closet and shit. Hey, guess what? I'm ambisexual. Like nobody answers the question that nobody asks. You know what I mean? So suddenly you're on all the book too. So how does it feel being ambisexual? And it's like, well, as I say in my book on page 37, I talk. It's like, is that all impromptu? Or is it calculated sometimes? I think, but still, overall, I think he has a spot that he just is unhappy with and should be grateful for, because however many years.
That's what I'm saying. Be grateful that you were part of the conversation.
Exactly. This far down the line from when that show closed out, and people still remember you for lines. They still recognize you when they see you on the street and shit like that. That's something to be thankful for, not to be all like, but if niggas really was feeling me, they be talking about me in this other conversation that ain't even about you, that you don't really even apply for and shit. So
you didn't after that you didn't have to ever do anything else. You done made enough money that you can live off of that for forever.
That's saying.
If he got a back end, he's really set for life. I mean, they still playing that shit on TV now.
Right.
Exactly. So Nickelodeon, nigga.
They wasn't thinking far enough down the line to do the back end deals, but if he was set like that, he wouldn't have, like you said, he would never have had to work again.
So Shannon said he didn't move past his character like Will Smith and Malcolm Jamal Warner did. Malcolm had a tough time getting past Theo. I remember that. Malcolm had a tough. I think he had to get about 35 to really get past Theo and start getting those parts as like doctors and stuff. And since he was doing really well. And Will,
he did jump to some films too. So
just a film. And Will Smith did great because he did Independence Day while Fresh Prince was still on the air, and it was so big, it was hard for him to go back and be Will after that. Like you knew after Independence Day, Fresh Prince was not going to be on the air too much longer.
He was cussing and shit. I know people was like clutching pearls all over the United States. Like.
And Bad Boy, like he couldn't have been on Bad. He couldn't have did Bad Boy and still been Fresh Prince.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it would have been too big. But like I said, I think Malcolm did a good job of parlaying, and I think he had that era where he had I think Malcolm and Eddie is what first got him out of Theo. People really liked Malcolm and Eddie. Like he had I think Malcolm and Eddie was 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah,
so he had 4 or 5.
Yeah, but then he said he was grown.
Yeah, you saw him grow up in the process.
Mm-hmm. They got a beard and
Urkel, he never grew up.
Yeah, and I think Urkel's probably because even on the Cosby Show, Malcolm grew as an adult on the show. Remember, he was teaching by the end, and he had the kids.
Right.
And so he got to grow as a man on the show, so you didn't look at him like a kid when the show was over. Urkel, they had him doing the exact same shtick when he was grown. They had him still in the tight pants and the glasses. You know what I mean? His voice
clearly an adult male.
Yeah, like clearly, like this nigga 35, like did I do that?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So he kind of got stuck in the time capsule, in a sense of like I said, we saw Will Smith kind of grow up. Will Smith got to grow up. So as you watch him grow into a man, it's easier to watch them transition to men on film. as you see them grow up. And even like you said, Malcolm Jamal Warner going, and it didn't feel weird when Malcolm Jamal Warner did Malcolm and Eddie, because we had seen him end off the Cosby Show as a grown man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Urkel, I don't.
Like damn Pee-wee.
Yeah,
Herman.
he's like a character. Yeah, like Pee Wee Herman. That's a great analogy. Yeah, that's a great comparison. Pee Wee Herman. Stephanie said the only person I know that has had a similar hard time breaking from her TV characters is Kim Fields. People still see her as Tootie and Regine, as she has been trying to break away from sitcom for so many years. She has never been successful other than going and producing. So she finally said the hell with it and got back into doing the upshot. Well, you know, I love Kim Fields, but I think Kim Fields has a very sitcom-y brand of acting. I don't see her as a movie star, because I've seen her, you know, she did some of them little movies and stuff, and it still felt, even when she was in those like Lifetime movies, it still feels sitcom-y.
But
You know, some
Lifetime
people
is not. That's not an artistic stretch. You know, what
Right,
I mean?
right.
To me, it's like when Lisa Bonet wanted to break out of the Cosby Show, she did Angel Heart.
Yeah,
You know, nude scenes.
like I'm gonna get
and shit like
naked
that.
and
Like,
get
holy
blood
shit.
all on me. Yeah, like
Yeah. So I mean, you got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go beyond the pale to be interpreted differently. Like when these singers are teeny bopper kids, and then they suddenly, like Janet Jackson, wanted to make a grown up record, so she turned the corner and did Control and the topicology of the songs and shit like that. All
you have to do
lends
something
that
very
Brit-
deliberate to take that kiddie spotlight off. You have to make a. If you think about almost every Disney actor who made as an adult, they made like a hard turn and did this role to shed all the Disney stuff off of them. Like all the ones you can't look at me like a Disney actor or actress after this movie. You know what I mean? You can't go and do something real bubbly and try to, you know what I'm saying, break out of that. Donald made a good point. He said Jimmy Walker is 76 and he's still JJ.
Yeah.
It was only 4 years between the Cosby Show and Malcolm and Eddie. Right. So that's what I'm saying. So it wasn't like he had a long time out of the spotlight, but just enough time away that we were able to accept him as another character. I mean, because I think almost every
but then but like you said, at the end of the Cosby Show, whatever, he wasn't as prominent.
Yeah.
As far as whatever, but then he was grown, and they allowed him the progression of being grown.
And I think that's why he had an easier time than maybe say Rudy.
Right.
Because Rudy was a kid when Cosby Show. So when you seen Rudy coming back having sex scenes, you're like, oh, hold on, that's Rudy.
Turn that shit off.
You know what I'm saying? Because last time we seen, like the last time we seen Rudy, she was 12, 13. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Excuse me.
And the mindset, he said like Arya Stark on Game of Thrones. You forget, like she grown now. Like by the end of the show, she was grown. Like she had love scenes by the end of the show, and she started as a kid. So you're like, hold on.
I feel like
Shannon Perkins said Regina King is a good example of a child star, a movie star. You know what? And this goes to kind of what I said about Kim Fields. Like again, I love Kim, not a knock on her, but Regina's skill set is different, man. Regina's acting toolbox is clearly different because she went from 2 to 7 to Boys in the Hood, and it didn't feel not right at all. You know what I'm saying?
As far as we know, though, the thing is, Kim has never been presented in any other scenario. I think that's what some of that comes to pass because the actors take control of the productions that they involve themselves in. You know what I'm saying? Because they're waiting around for somebody to offer them a really drastic role different from what they've been cast in. They're pigeonholed by the industry. So like Will has his own production company. I know that's not a great comparison, but you know, you could accept an indie film or something that is totally different than what you've done before. And that's how you prove that, because people are always they're only gonna measure you by what they see you in. You know, you wouldn't imagine Kim Fields and Sugar Hill and shit as a coked out prostitute or some shit like that. But you don't know if she can actually play it because everything has been, you know, you bump into your college sweetheart after not seeing them for 10 years at Christmas time, and you fall in love again and shit like that. You know, those are very predictable storylines that would be very conducive to what she's done in the past. If she wants to jump off, if you want to see an artist in a different light, they gotta take the steering wheel, you know, and do some shit that their agents and everybody would say, no, I don't think you should really do that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's
But
the
I
kind of
think
rich
by
you gotta
now,
pay.
I think by now we would have been able to see Kim in a turn like that. You know what I mean?
But
Because she's been
who's
business
offering
for
it
40
to
years.
her at though? From who? Maybe a Tyler Perry is watching this shit and try to cast her in something different. But like you said, the Lifetime shit is what she's been offered and shit like that. And if she ain't aggressive or she ain't trying to, her passion.
Well, I'm gonna say I think she probably. I'm looking at her IMDb right now. I feel like the stuff she chose. I feel like she kind of played it safe.
That's what I'm saying. When you play it safe,
I think she played. But like I say, I feel like Regina King jumped right out there. You know what I'm saying?
She
Regina
took that
King went
chance
to
that I'm
Boys in the
talking
Hood, took that chance, and then
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood. Then she Poetic Justice. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you see her Friday and going into more and more stuff. Like now she is like revered as an actress, or even Taraji. Like we seen Taraji start doing like little hood shit there and there. But I just remember the other day that Taraji was on the show Person of Interest, and she was a cop and a totally different character. You know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah,
totally different in what was the one I really liked her in? Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures. Yeah, like I think Taraji really got some chops, and Benjamin Buttons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so I think there's time. That's why I say I think there's chances, and I feel like looking at Kim's IMDb, I feel like Kim wasn't really taking those chances. I think Kim was really picking the safe route.
Man, we're screenwriters. Let's write her a movie where she's like a crackhead that turns her life around or some shit. See what she can do. And we'd be like, oh goddamn, Kim, I didn't know you had it
So I
in
didn't
you.
know that. Stephanie said based off of how she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she became more involved in her spirituality. So that could be a big reason on why she took the role she took as well. Yeah.
Who? Kim Fields?
Kim Fields. Yeah, I guess so.
I don't fuck with reality shows, so I wouldn't have known that. But
yeah.
Well, that's another thing. That's a very good point. Actually, is that when people turn the corner on their faith, embrace their faith more, you do see them scale down what they are willing to do, what they're willing to say. Like Prince had a moment where he changed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To change his role. But yeah, that definitely can have a lot to do with it from an actor standpoint, because what they present on screen, the audience tends to believe them if they're very good at that role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It tends to attribute that characteristic to them, I should say.
Right. Well, hopefully, like you said, maybe we can get Kim something with some meat on it.
Who knows Kim Fields people? Put her people's names in the chat and shit. We're gonna do something with Kim, offer Kim Fields something and see if she'll take it. That would be a hard sell.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into this last piece of it all, the Jay-Z of it all. Well, real quick before we get into that, I just want to give a shout out to Jamie Foxx for his new special. Jamie Foxx's new special, I think it was perfectly what he needed to do to come back to let people know he ain't a clone. Because that shit, I know we're in the year 2024 and that sounds like it's not a real thing, but it's a real thing. People really thought this nigga was a clone. Right. So he literally had to come out on stage and say he's not a clone. But I think it was one of those comedy shows that could be a turning point for him, where he was like very introspective. It was very emotional. It wasn't just funny. But I think he found a good way into his sickness through the comedy.
Yeah.
It felt more like a one-man show than a stand-up special. Yes. It felt like
all that in the band, yeah. But the only problem I have with that shit, and I know I'm always that person to say that shit, that nigga's stylist, his motherfucking ass whip, whoever did that nigga's wardrobe, I was like, maybe this nigga is a clone, because I wearing those leather tracksuit, fucking big.
Well, comedians always trying to get that Eddie Murphy leather. That shit always go back to them niggas.
That was not it, bro.
I know, but they always try to go back to the iconic one color Eddie Murphy. That's always every time I see a comic of leather, I'm like, this is they Eddie Murphy. They trying to get the Eddie Murphy moment.
Well, it didn't work. I mean, the shit was great. It was very respectable and all that, but nigga, that shit looked like leather scrubs. I'm telling you,
leather scrubs.
Leather scrubs.
He could go on any construction site in the U.S. and be okay with them motherfucking shoes. I was like, this nigga.
Shannon said, was it really a comedy show or a testimony? I fell asleep to it. I think it was a testimony, but I think, like I said, I felt like it was wrapped up in comedy, and it was wrapped up in like him dealing, it was almost therapeutic to me, like him dealing with his sickness and letting the world know what happened. Because I know everybody been waiting to hear what happened. We didn't really know what was going on. All we knew was a medical emergency. Like we just finding out it was actually a stroke and a brain bleed, and we almost lost Buddy. Like, you know what I mean? So I think it was like, I appreciate the transparency of it all and how he showed that this was an extremely humbling experience for him. It knocked him down a few notches. Yeah, like I said, I think he was very open. I don't know if y'all remember. I mean, I was a kid, but for some reason I remember this. My parents, we went to the drive-in, and we saw Richard Pryor live on Sunset Strip, and that was the one where Richard was kind of emotional, kind of introspective, found a way to talking about his demons through his comedy. And I feel like this was kind of that moment for Jamie, right? Like he found a way into his life to give us a personal account of what was going on, like through the comedy. And like I said, all of Sunset Strip wasn't just funny, ha. Like there were very introspective moments in that. And I think this was kind of like that. So shout out to him. If y'all haven't had a chance, watch it. Be prepared to get choked up a little, because it's some real moments, and you could tell he felt like God had to humble him because he was out of control. He was a little Jamie Foxx was feeling a little too Jamie Foxx. He had to remember he was Eric Bishop. That's what I took from it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I took from it. Y'all know Jay-Z getting this allegation was like chum in the water for Jaguar Wright. She come out feeling like she vindicated. I don't know what her problem is with Jay-Z. I don't know if he didn't pay her after that Unplugged show or something. But she is on his ass. His daughter, though, that little girl is bad. I can't wait to hear her as she gets older. Yeah, she was dope. I would love to hear her playing alongside with her. Yeah, that would be dope. But hey, the black women in his family held him down, though. That's one thing I took away from it. The black women around Jamie held him down, as always, though. But yeah, so the Jay-Z allegation is a lot of it. When I read it, a lot of it feels off, just the way the descriptions and the way they saying things happen. And I also feel like they were just like, let's find a way to attach him to this Diddy shit, because people have been trying for months. Like, how can we attach him to this Diddy shit? But what I did find interesting was Diddy's response, because usually people shy away from this stuff and they do try to settle, or they try not to, like, we just not gonna say nothing. And he came out like, nah, we suing everybody, bro. Like, y'all want to try to put this lie on me? He like, tell us who it is. Yeah, like, yeah, Nino Brown. You know what I'm saying? So what are y'all thoughts on the allegations? And what are y'all thoughts on Jay's response?
Well, I thought the allegations were fucking, outrageous. I mean, I thought they weren't really plausible in that there's a 13-year-old girl at the MTV Awards. No, was it MTV Awards? Yeah, it was MTV Awards.
Yeah, MTV. Just
the after party. You 13 at the after party and shit, alone enough to get gang raped and shit. So that alone sounds like, where's your fucking mama at? Is this a black kid or a white kid? Because I know black parents ain't gonna be running no shit like that. But I just thought it just sounded improbable, the circumstances that this happened in. And plus, I mean, Diddy got his own demons and shit that he's dealing with, but these motherfuckers, both of them are stars. You can just get pussy if you wanted and shit. You ain't got to go taking the shit and like running through town, breaking in stores and climbing in motherfuckers' windows, raping them and shit like Bill Cosby. Like, nigga, you up there, and you don't even have to do shit like that. So that probability kind of seemed implausible. But I think the most effective thing in Jay-Z's response, and when I read the whole thing, like when Rob sent it to us, that shit read to me like some AI written shit, because it was like real round toned words and shit like that. Like, it didn't sound real. But the main thing that I thought really hit home was Jay-Z's response saying, if all this shit happened, file a criminal case. Why a civil case? Where's the police? Like, you just go directly for the money. You bypass like the criminality of it all and go directly to the civil suit. So that, I think, undermined any legs that they had to stand on, if they had any to begin with.
Yeah, Shannon said, I think they're trying to extort Jay-Z. Stephanie said, I cannot say it's true or not true, but come on, Vern. The 13-year-old at after party is not far-fetched. It happens all the time. Look at that 15-year-old girl that was at the Playboy Mansion that accused Bill Cosby of doing something.
That shit was crazy.
13 and 15 is terrible, but 13? You know what I'm saying? I'll be back, mama. Where you going? Bitch, mind your business. This limo is coming.
Shannon, I think he did. I think he emphatically denied it. He didn't. He said he didn't do it, and he said if you think I did it, go tell the police.
Yeah.
He didn't. He didn't beat around the bush on that.
Was
like,
it.
Yeah. He said I didn't do it. He said we have a code. I'm from Brooklyn. I don't play that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he emphatically denied it. But like V-Ray said, I think attaching that, if y'all think I did this, why y'all going to civil suit, not calling police? I think that's the thing that I have not seen another star do in regards to these kind of statements. And what I've heard was they said Jay-Z made this statement himself. They said he didn't have a PR person write it. They said he didn't wait for some lawyer. They said this was Jay himself wrote that statement.
That nigga went to Chat GPT. As lyrical as that nigga is, he didn't write that shit. That nigga's like,
I think it didn't read like AI to me.
You've been falsely accused of rape. What's the best way to respond to that shit? Oh, by the way, I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? That shit like
yeah, it didn't read like AI to me. It read poignant to me. It didn't read like AI to me.
Let me find that motherfucker. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Where's that shit that Rob sent us? I mean, I ain't trying to hog the conversation, but I don't know. I guess as a person that writes a lot, that shit was like, nigga, who wrote this shit? Because it didn't sound.
What are your thoughts, Freckles? I see your face over there.
I mean, the story just seemed a little. It was, I don't know. It is all felt hella random, but all kinds of shit just be doing stuff. But I did Google dude because he threw his name out there a couple of times.
Yeah, he did.
You know, and so I was like, okay, dude, you don't really have good legs to stand on. You know, but I mean, just from the jump. And then, you know, I personally just have a whole little thing about, I mean, this was 2000. I mean,
yeah, it was 2000.
That was, well, I'm saying, but I mean, like at this point, like that's 25 years ago. And so it's just the timing and all of that's a little something. I mean, either way, I just kind of hate that sort of thing because then it's just, especially for something to not be true or whatever. However, people still have families and you have children, and now, I mean, I think that's the part that kind of struck me with the letter part. It's just like now I have to have a conversation with my children, and so you know that loss of innocence is real.
Yeah, because he said my daughters are old enough like that. I'm gonna have to sit down with my kids and explain to them what's happening and explain to them that this is not true and all that. And I was like, damn, I didn't think about that side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, I think for me, that was the first thing I went to. It was like, damn, like I think just the times that we live in, you don't necessarily, I mean, if something like that had happened and it's true, fuck your family and whatever, because I want vindication for myself, you know what I mean? Yeah. But just the impact that would, because like now that's something that's gonna forever be Googleable, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And they said this dude has like filed a bunch of these like lawsuits.
Yeah. That's what I looked up dude after that because I was just like, well, let me check and see on here and whatever. But this is kind of what you do, and nothing's ever criminal, and everything is always civil.
Yeah,
it gives extortion.
That's
and then it's the timing. But then you kind of maybe just kind of thought like no one. You know, because shit, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people that are like on pins and needles about, you know, as far as anyone connected to Diddy and all that sort of thing anyway. And so you just maybe thought like, oh, well, he's so big that maybe he'll just kind of roll with it. No, he was like, no.
Yeah, and I think that's like you said, he probably's gotten money from other stars who like, I just don't want my name in the public. I don't want this on Google. I don't want this in the press. So I'll just pay you even if I ain't had nothing to do with it. Right. I think that's what he does with these lawsuits. And Jay was like, I see what you do, and I'm not rolling with it. You're not doing that to me. You know what I mean? Like, let me see. Stephanie, again, I can't say if it's true or not, but we as people need to stop telling people when it's okay for them to come out and talk about their trauma. I definitely understand there are a lot of people who lie about things, but with the ones who are telling the truth, who are we to say when it's time for you to say something? Being on the outside looking in, that's not fair. Because once it happens to you, you definitely don't want to hear from a bunch of people who don't know anything about you. I agree with that, Stephanie. But again, if you're going to come out, why wouldn't you come out criminally? One, and then two, to attach yourself to this attorney who, like, this is his racket, is trying to catch up famous people. That's what makes it look tricky. So, you know. Shannon says, I do hope they grant Jay-Z the request to reveal the petitioner. He deserves the right to know who's accusing him. She shouldn't be allowed to remain anonymous. Yeah, like, because the thing about this is it's a slippery slope, right? You don't want her to be revealed if she was a minor, but she's not a minor now, right? But you don't want her to be revealed because you want people going after her and her family. But also, Jay feels like I had a right to know who's accusing me, because if y'all trying to extort me for this person that probably don't even know me, that means anybody can come out the woodworks and just be like, oh, I'm gonna file an anonymous lawsuit and get this money. I'm gonna be anonymous and say he did A, B, and C to me, him and Diddy at the same time. Now let's attach it to that lawsuit. And that's the other thing that's weird, is like let's just attach it to the Diddy shit. You know what I'm saying? That's like, let's get in on this. That's what it feels like to me.
Exactly. Very Al Sharpton.
Yeah. What I'm afraid of is that this is just a flare shot fired to encourage possible real victims to come forward. I hope not, though. I mean, if real victims do come forward, then yeah, that's a different conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
He definitely has the right to know who's accusing him of doing something. Yeah, man. Like, because again, if she can get through this whole thing and end up winning like a civil case and not come out, that's really gonna open the floodgates for people to just be like, well, shit. All I gotta do is say I'm anonymous and Jay did this and that and the third to me. I'm going in too. You know, we know how that happens. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be watching it unfold. But like I said, I think this is the first time I've seen a star actually respond and react like this to these kind of charges ever. That publicly and that brashly. You know, most people like, we're gonna let my lawyers handle it. We're gonna take it through the justice system. You know, all those canned responses that we know we've heard. And this is the first time I heard them like, oh yeah, well, call the cops. You know, yeah, I didn't call the police. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, things are about to get really interesting, because I heard they are trying to attach just a bunch of stars who don't got nothing to do with Diddy to this Diddy case too. Like I'm hearing, like, you know, through back channels, that's kind of like the new hustle. It's like, how can we, if I say you was part of the Diddy stuff, you'll pay me and I won't say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. People that got commercial deals and shit like that, brand ambassadors and shit like that, may want to keep their nose clean, even if they didn't do anything. But if they're like on the guest list, they got pictures, you know, at the parties with them and shit, even if they didn't do anything, that's kind of a black eye on that type of credibility, like a Kevin Hart, or I'm just pulling names out the air, but you know, people like that, that's what's in your wallet and all this shit all over the place. Those niggas, they would have something to lose. But I mean, I think Jay-Z's on the right path. I would have my lawyer try to get that case separated from the Diddy case, and let's just try it. Because you can then ask for expedited trial and all this stuff like that, versus delaying it, like when somebody's done a crime like a Trump, you know what I'm saying? They want to like kick the can down the road and shit. No, let's get this shit expedited. Let's have a hearing, try to schedule it in 30 days and shit, and get this shit cracking, you know what I'm saying? Call their bluff. And I think that would be a lot less mud dragging, a lot less time consuming for this nigga's name to be constantly associated with this shit, and you know, make them pull their guns out if you got any.
Stephanie said, I don't know if it applies to this situation or not, but I have learned that a lot of things that we think are criminal are actually not. When you contact law enforcement to make a report, they will quickly tell you that is civil. Chrissy Speaks said, the fact that Diddy is locked up is why Jay did not play with this or wait. I agree. Like, y'all ain't finna give me an reindeer games. Yeah. Shannon said, are y'all trying to pull up to the Nickerson Garden tomorrow? Who? No. Who's in concert? She said that'll be an epic concert. I'm sure it will, but you ain't gonna see me. Like, in the words of the great philosopher David Ruffin, I guess I won't be there then. So who's gonna be in concert over there, Shannon? Let me know. I don't know.
On
I
a
haven't heard about
Thursday?
a concert in Nickerson's. I haven't heard about it. I'm sure it might. If it's Nickerson's, I'm thinking it'll probably be Kendrick and some people then. If it's the Nickerson's, right? I don't know. But let me know who's pulling up, Shannon. I ain't up on that. But I ain't gonna be there. I'm too old to run from bullets. My knees ain't good for ducking no more.
I got a 4X bulletproof vest.
Let's do our community spotlight before we get out of here. Again, we're trying to raise money to send these drums to Africa for this kid Grayson, great drummer, and he went to a blind school in Africa and took them some what do you call it? The sticks, the walking sticks. He took them to walk with. He donated a bunch of them. He raised money and donated them. But then while he was there, he played the drums. And I said, "Oh, this drum set is terrible. We got to try to do something." So we're trying to raise $650 to send drums to these kids in Africa, hopefully before Christmas. So if you can donate, I'll put it in the comments again. This is for what was it for? For Cash App and what's that other one? Thank you, Stephanie. Mobility canes or white canes. Thank you. This is for
Venmo
Cash App
and Venmo, right?
Yeah, Cash App and Venmo. Same thing. Grayson's View for Cash App and Venmo. Grayson's View, send whatever y'all can. $5, $10, $100, $200. I know things is tight for everybody, but send whatever you can. So I really want to get these drums over. And I'm talking to a couple of corporate folks too to see if we can get them to help us out as well. Hey man, this has been a great show. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. Freckles, so good to have you back. Don't be going that long again. I know it's hard for you, but still, we need you. We need that lady. We need that woman's touch. Stephanie,
Right on.
you can't say I'm getting old and we the same age. Damn it. Oh, before we go, I'm still trying to find out, Shannon, who in concert at the Nickerson Gardens tomorrow?
Also, man, we need to plug our video.
Oh, yep, TDE Christmas. Absol, Doechii, Isaiah Rashad, J-Rock, Kendrick Lamar, Rayvon, Schoolboy Q,
the regular,
Sir, SZA. Oh yeah, that's gonna be cracking.
Schoolboy Q.
Yep.
That's
Top
crazy.
Dog. It's the TDE Christmas and
I
Toy
thought that
Drive.
nigga died.
Toy Drive, yeah.
tripping?
Yeah, you tripping. Schoolboy Q is very much alive.
Who is it that died recently? Never mind. That's my problem. But cool. He ain't dead.
Yeah.
Somebody died though that everybody was like, "Holy shit!"
So
that
anybody
shit
who
was
want to go, y'all can bring Unwrapped Gifts. It's local opener. Start at 1. The main show starts at 2:30 tomorrow. So y'all go to the Nickersons and take a toy. Have y'all a good time. Get some good videos. What up, Cofield? All right, Shannon. What you want to hear? You want to hear? Matching Pajamas before we go?
Yeah, run the video, man.
Yeah,
Do we
run the
have a
video.
video? Do we have a video on
It's on YouTube. It's on our
YouTube?
Wild Band channel. Yeah.
There we go. All right. So since you asked for it, Shannon, you gonna get it. We're gonna play the Matching Pajamas video. We're gonna debut it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is what's the most video shows? What was the show on Friday night? Pump It Up. Yeah, Video Soul. Pump It Up, Video Soul. We ain't got them video shows, so we're gonna have to debut it ourselves.
Yeah, you got to smoke a pound of weed to get them Donnie eyes. Remember that nigga used to look high all the time. Like,
All right, here we go. We just dropped the video yesterday, as a matter of fact. So
Hey y'all, let's get in here. Let's rest some holiday cheer.
Halloween, sweet 16, but my dream doll is in between. Now let's have a holly jolly, the Uchi Wally Wally. And yeah, I'm thinking probably you'll be my dolly dolly. So skip the birthday suit, let's get the present wrap. And with the play-by-play, we'll cue the nightcap. So what you think, baby? Yo, do we got a deal? I'll call a sleigh ride, then me and you can chill.
Gather around some mistletoe, just as for kisses we all know. This is the season for spreading cheer. What can I do, my baby here? Check my list, I checked it twice. Just how I like it, she's naughty and nice. What can I do? She's so far away. Itching the right, don't say next.
So how we gon' do this? How can we maneuver? This growing infatuation got me here like a Buddhist. I didn't expect us to be here. Yeah, yo, you do this. Decisions to be made, so baby, are we gonna do this? Flapper, Jammer, Spider-Man, or maybe Venom. And later for dinner, catch a fish, maybe some denim. Presents for the chitlins, even yours, just let me get them. Surprises in my bag, so let me bag you after dinner. Ha!
Waiting for St. Nick to slide. Christmas Eve will be my ride. I'll do all I have to do. My way
Rain, sleet, and snow ain't gonna stop me. We gotta match up these pajamas, girl, you got me. Feeling like a kid again, you might be. The reason I wanna put presents under your tree.
for St. Nick to slide. Christmas Eve will be my ride. I'll do all I have to do.
Rain, sleet, and snow ain't gonna stop me. We gotta match up these pajamas, girl, you got me. Feeling like a kid again, you might be. The reason I wanna put presents under your tree.
To slide, Christmas Eve will be my ride. I'll do all I have to do.
Rain, sleet, and snow ain't gonna stop me. We gotta match up these pajamas, girl, you got me. Feeling like a kid again, you might be. The reason I wanna put presents under your tree.
For St. Nick to slide, Christmas Eve will be my ride. I'll do all I have to do.
Rain, sleet, and snow ain't gonna stop me. We gotta match up these pajamas, girl, you got me. Feeling like a kid again, you might be. The reason I wanna put presents under your tree.
Thanks for the request, Steph. So that was the music video for Matching Pajamas. Go run it up. And like we said, go get the record, go buy the record and stream it, share it, let everybody know that Wild Bunch got a new holiday song out. We are going to have some news soon about a new album and all that good stuff. So thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Wild Wild Thoughts, man. It's always great when y'all be getting it popping in the comments like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the place to talk about the culture. We will see y'all next week. What's next week?
And if y'all do wanna if y'all ain't got nothing to do and y'all wanna watch something, I ain't gonna say too much, but He Say She Say 3. Y'all go check that out.
Oh yeah, check that out. Shout out to Brian.
Shout out to Brian. Yeah, y'all go check out
Steph,
He
that's
Say She Say
Speed.
3.
Speed is first. Speed is in the very beginning. That's Speed. It's Speed. Then it's Demond singing, and then it's me, and then it's the hook, and then it's Corey. But yeah, go to YouTube, y'all. Check out He Say She Say 3. Shout out to Brian, who has edited a lot of our videos and done a lot of stuff with this. It's something that he wrote and that he directed. That's really dope. And Rex ain't telling y'all, but he's in it. He starred in the short. This is his starring turn in the short.
Where is it at? On Tubi or where?
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. He say, she say 3, and it's a whole series too. If y'all want, watch. He say, she say 1, 2, and 3. They all
Watch
good.
2 and 3. Yeah, watch all of them. Yeah.
And he
So
got
you
a
can
horror
understand the
short
story.
film he did called Little Gerald. That's really dope. Check that out. But
Beautiful.
for now, to go watch Rex in his debut. Watch Rex in his debut. Go check out He Say, She Say 3. It's pretty funny. All right. Anything else y'all want to talk about? Anything else y'all want to plug before we get out of here?
Nah, go get that matching pajamas, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Go get that matching pajamas and add it to your list. Add it to your decorating list. Add it to your holiday list.
Please.
Hey man, we love. Stephanie says she wants your autograph, Rex. Your first autograph.
Yeah. All right, I get it to you.
She said, I thought that was V-Ray singing, not Demont. The funny thing is, the part that V-Ray is singing is not the part anybody would ever think. V-Ray singing the high part on the hook. The nigga with the
Nigga, I
voice.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, that that's V.
Oh shit, V, you got
I
bit
had on my matching pajamas. 4 sizes too small, nigga.
Yeah, that's V-Ray. None of the deep voice stuff is V. The high stuff is V. He came out with the falsetto. I bought a ticket.
Good times, man.
He like, yeah, go ahead, roll the tape. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm. I got y'all. Don't worry about it. I got y'all. Stand back.
Yeah.
Sign my t-shirt. I thought that was V-Ray too. We got you, Steph. I hope you had a great birthday too, Steph. I thought you had I hope you enjoyed your day, and it's always good to see you on the show. We miss you guys when y'all not here. We miss Shannon when y'all not here. So we appreciate y'all, man, always rocking us, and appreciate the support that y'all give us. This has been really, really fun, really good show. We'll see y'all next week, man. All right, y'all.
All right, good night, guys.
Stop the world, let me off. I don't like this destination. I like a transfer to the express line. I gotta get off. Electric slide to the devil's doors of life. Things are changing and it ain't the way I like. On the replay, wish I could get a replay. Don't mean to hold ya, but I wanna do over. Gas up the ship, shoot me a text and let me know